The rich own more than 99% of the rest of the world's wealth. Netflix's stock price surges to record high, and Bacardi plans to acquire Patron in a $5.1 billion deal. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm Elliot Bullman. Let's go straight to the information. Billionaires and politicians gathered at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland this week are coming under pressure to tackle rising inequality after a study by anti-poverty charity Oxfam found that 1% of the world's population own more wealth than the other 99%. Winnie Byanyima, Executive Director of Oxfam International and one of the 6 co-chairs at this week's World Economic Forum, said the increased concentration of wealth seen since the deep recession of 2008-2009 was dangerous and needed to be reversed. The wealth of the richest 62 people has risen by 44% since 2010, while that of the poorest fell by a corresponding figure, the international charity says. About $7.6 trillion of individuals' wealth sits in offshore tax havens. And if tax were paid on the income, this wealth generates an extra $190 billion would be available to governments every year. Gabriel Zuckman, assistant professor at University of California, Berkeley, has estimated. Also, Pope Francis and the International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde have been among those warning that rising inequality will damage the world economy if left unchecked. The report claims that as much as 30% of all African financial wealth is held offshore, costing about $14 billion in lost tax revenues every year. This is enough to pay for healthcare that could save 4 million children's lives a year. In other news, the Standard & Poor's 500 and Nasdaq Composite indexes finished on Tuesday at record highs, helped by a surge in shares for video streaming site Netflix. Netflix started climbing the stock market on Tuesday when it closed up nearly 5% at $201, thanks to a couple of enthusiastic assessments by analysts. Upbeat results from Netflix saw its shares jump 10%, taking its market value past $100 billion. Little more than 5 years ago, Netflix looked like a train wreck. The company had announced then quickly aborted a widely ridiculed effort to set up its profitable DVD business as a separate operation and rename it Quickster. Boy, how things have changed. Netflix dominates the streaming media market and its DVD business is now an afterthought. Its stock price has doubled in the last 13 months. And with Disney's branded streaming platform still 2 years away, Netflix is miles ahead of its peers, and many analysts are extolling Netflix as the best stock for 2018. Netflix plans to spend as much as $8 billion on content this year, including 80 original movies. In other news, alcohol giant Bacardi has said it will buy tequila maker Patron as demand grows for high-end versions of the spirit around the world. Bacardi says the deal values Patron at about $5.1 billion. Best known for its rum, Bacardi took a minority stake in the tequila firm a decade ago, and the two companies have worked closely together since then. Bacardi already owns Cazadores and the Corso Tequila brands and is the world's biggest privately owned spirits firm. According to recent data by research firm IWSR, the Patron deal makes Bacardi the top spirits maker in the so-called super premium segment of the US market and the second largest spirit company in the market by value. Much like the recent boom in gin brands and gin cocktails, tequila is now being consumed in a completely different way. The trend has moved away from drinking tequila as a shot to high-quality cocktail combinations and sophisticated sipping products. Last year, George Clooney's tequila company, Casamigos, was sold to drinks giant Diageo in a deal worth $1 billion. And finally, let's turn to the markets. The Mexican peso decreased 0.4% to 18.41 from 18.49 in the previous trading session. On the other hand, the IPC Mexico increased 0.97% to 50,747 from 50,260 in the previous trading session. This was all for today. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Elliot Bullman. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.
Síguenos en nuestras redes sociales. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Solo por México News Network Televisión.